Hello Libra, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Libra is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. It is totally free, it does not cost you anything. If there's something you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Libra, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And here is the Sun card, the 19th mystery of the tarot. This is illumination. This is an enlightening of your life. I think that this is an achievement of a certain perspective. I think that this is a lot of clarity. I think you're seeing things for what they really truly are. You're seeing things past, present, and future in one larger picture. You're understanding the purpose of where you've been. You're understanding the potential of where you're going. And I think that you are, in a very general way, experiencing a real activation of your creative side. Okay, but let's see if we can get a little bit more specific. Yeah, let's put that into some context. I feel like that's a very good card. I feel it's a card of perspective, right? Putting things into perspective. But there it is. There is the enlightenment, the kind of the literal spiritual download. Okay, I think you're achieving a kind of certainty about things right now. I think that your spiritual antenna is very much activated. We've got a 5 of Wands, 7 of Swords, the Eon, Judgment, Rebirth, Reawakening. You are transcending. You are transcending. And here is a Prince of Wands, which is showing the need for action. Okay, that you're taking positive steps. That it's kind of like we have a period of meditation, contemplation, introspection, this spiritual activation, and it is translating into activity, right? So if this is a creative kind of process, then this is you now with the paintbrush in hand, okay? We've got the Death card. We've got a 9 of Cups, beautiful. A 4 of Swords, that's good. A 4 of Swords at least will kind of correct the 7 that we see. And then we've got some Capricorn, Earth energy style Knight of Pentacles at the end, which is, this is our ability to see the future. Okay, so we're using this solar activation, this cosmic consciousness to really see the effects of things. We're able to see the results of karma in a way, right? That makes sense. So, let's see where to begin. Well, let's start at the beginning. Right, let's begin here with this Sun card. I think that you're someone who, you like to have all of the information before you act, before you make a decision. Yeah, I think you like to see all sides of the equation. You know, you appreciate history. You appreciate. You're like one of those people that maybe it's like a what do they call it? Like sci-fi, but it's like, you know, history. What is that? There's a certain genre, and I can't think of it right now. But that's what I feel. I feel as if there's a deep understanding and appreciation for the past, for history, for the path that you have traveled to get where you are now. Right, and we're able to see all sides of things at once. So there's a deep appreciation for the past, for history. There's also an intense yearning for the future. There's an excitement almost for what tomorrow is going to bring. Yeah. I feel like you're somebody who really does appreciate honesty as well. And I feel that somebody recently has lied to you, and I feel like it was a deal breaker. Right? We've got that 7 of Swords back here. I feel like somebody I don't know if they misled you intentionally, but somebody, and it was kind of a big deal. And it's a big deal to you anyway. I don't know what this was regarding. I kind of feel like it has something to do with a personal relationship. I don't think it's business related. It has something to do with either I kind of feel as if somebody revealed your secret before you were able to do it. Does that make sense? That maybe you had an announcement, or you had some personal issue going on or something like this, but somebody else took it upon themselves to let the cat out of the bag, right? To tell everybody, to kind of spread your news for you in a way that seems like it was very, I don't know if it was underhanded, but it feels like it was, right? And maybe it was your good news to share, and somebody else went ahead and did it, without your consent, and it was rather deflating, right? You had this really, really big news. Part of the excitement is when you get to tell everybody, So anyway, I feel like you cut somebody off recently. I feel as if somebody, like you're not talking to them anymore because they did something like that. And with this kind of cosmic consciousness thing with the Sun card here, I feel like we're getting a little bit closer to just saying, it's not really that serious. We're getting, and it doesn't mean that you're ever going to talk to that person again. Yeah, maybe they did this, that's it, one and done. You only get one chance, It doesn't mean that you're going to forgive this person, but it means that you're just letting go of that situation, that you're seeing it in the larger context. It doesn't mean that much. It's not really bothering you, right? It's not affecting you all that much anymore. We got that 9 of Cups here in the environment. But I do feel like I'm getting this weird energy with you right now, where I feel like, because you see how I keep touching these cards, I'm trying to find a way to get everything perfectly straight, right? I kind of feel that's part of what's going on with you right now, is that you are, when you're trying to hang a picture on your wall at home, and you're trying to get it exactly perfectly centered in the wall, and you got the tape measure out, and it's like, you got, 6 inches on this side, 6 inches on that side, it's perfectly straight, and then you got to try to get it level, so it's not crooked. I feel that's kind of what's going on with you right now, that there's this perfectionism that is kind of normal, I think, for Libras, but I think right now it's a little bit pronounced, where we want everything to be exactly perfect, and that's why I'm looking at the cards over here, I'm thinking, are they straight? Are things on my table, are they a little bit too crooked, and is everything slanted, And I think part of this solar illumination is just appreciating everything for the way it is. Nothing is perfect. We're never going to get the picture on the wall exactly right. We're never going to have a relationship with anybody, even with ourselves, that is absolutely perfectly ideal. Nothing is ever going to live up to these perfectionist expectations. Okay? Now, it doesn't mean that you forgive anybody and you accept them back into your life. No, I'm not saying you have to lower your standards. But I'm saying in you personally, in your spirit, in your psyche, in your soul, there's this perception now of everything as it is in all of its, you're looking around at my table here, all of its crookedness, all of its kind of lopsided, twisted, flawed, detail. That's what gives the bigger picture its perfection. You think of a great painter or a great artist or something, and it's not a painter. Well, I don't know that much about art. But, a drawing that is so perfect, it looks like a photograph, right? You've seen, those kinds of drawings. I was on Reddit the other day, and someone was saying, here's a drawing that I did. I'm like, it looks like a photograph. It blew my mind. I don't know how anybody could draw that well, because I can't do a stick figure. But I was like, that's stunning for what it is. It's technically flawless. It literally, to me, looked like a photograph. But to me, it's missing something, And this is what, to me, the Sun card is kind of telling me. That it needs some kind of raw energy. It needs some sort of human element to it. You need to see a couple of mistakes, or you need to see a little fuzz and roughness around the edges or something. Things are too flawless, they're fake, right? Things are too flawless and they're not real. Yeah. And so I think that this is us kind of perceiving the perfection of the world is because of all of its flawed details, because of all of the eccentricities, because people are not perfect, because people will say and do things that we don't like, right? If everybody all the time did everything that everybody liked, it'd be a weird place. We need a little bit of Five of Wands. We need a little bit of that. We need a little bit of push and pull. We need a little bit of conflict. We need a little bit of things being kind of out of place, And I'm really feeling that energy today more than any other day. This idea that things are a little bit, not right. I kind of want to get my tape measure out and start measuring the distance between the cards, and everything needs to be exactly right. Exactly right. Okay? And I feel like this has kind of been your energy. And if that's the case, then nothing is ever good enough. Nothing is ever satisfying. That we can't enjoy what we're doing. I can't enjoy reading the cards if I'm just like, they're just kind of not, there's too much, space between that one, and it just doesn't quite look right. And you can see it's relatively straight, right? But things get bumped and moved, and sometimes they move by themselves. I don't know. But we do the very best we can. But if this is all I'm doing is tweaking everything and making everything as perfectly straight as possible, then guess what? I'm never going to actually read a card. You know what I mean? I'll never actually get to doing what it is that we do, to living life, to being the creative kind of energy that you are. Yeah. So it's kind of like with the Seven of Swords back here. We're trying to get everything as flawless as possible. And yeah, maybe we'll succeed in getting everything, measured. It depends on what kind of a tape measure you have or whatever, how accurate you can be. But there's always a degree of tolerance. I don't care how good your precision is. We can only be so precise here on the manifested plane. I can get everything 99% straight, but it's that 1% of crookedness that makes this alive, right? And that to me is very, very much a solar kind of energy. So we have this perfection and perfectionism about us right now, but we're starting to realize, and I think this is a big spiritual kind of download for you that's coming. Not that you don't already know this, but I think in a real way, you're going to experience it. That it is through the difficulty, it is through the kind of the push and the pull, it's through the little flaws and things, through the imperfections that creates the perfection of life, right? That creates the experience, that makes it real. Okay. So it's not that you're quarrelsome. It's not that you're looking for a fight, but you're tolerant. I think there is that person that wronged you in that way. Maybe you'll never talk to them again. I don't know the severity of the situation. Maybe it's unforgivable. That's fine. But I don't feel like you're letting it bother you. I don't feel like you resent it. Right? I feel like you accept it. That's part of life. Yeah, sometimes people are going to say and do things that I've got to decide, is this a deal breaker? Is this one of those oh no-nos? Or is this okay? Right? Is it worth severing a relationship over? Okay. You're somebody that likes to you like to, am I trying to say this? And you like to kind of test people, You like to push people a little bit, Sometimes we set up scenarios to see what other people are going to do. Yeah. And I think life is like that a lot. A lot of the time we do things and we wonder how other people are going to react. Not that we're doing things just for the reaction, that's not what I mean. But we want to see, we observe other people. We observe ourselves too, right? When other people do certain things, how do we react? And how do other people react to what I'm doing? And there's always, I think, a little bit of that, because I think you are very much aware of how your actions affect other people. If we never thought about that, then we would just assume that we exist alone, that nothing exists except within our own mind. And there is nobody out there to be affected by me, right? And I think that's an incorrect way of looking at things. And I think you're receiving this you're receiving this experience. It's not even knowledge, it's a certainty of the interconnectedness of all of life, of how all of your thoughts, words, and deeds are affecting other people, are affecting your future self, right? This is a real, true understanding of karma. I think that this is kind of like, this is an enlightenment moment, an enlightening moment, where maybe you realize that what this person did, what if it was a friend, family member that can, revealed your secret for you, let's say. You're kind of realizing now that you just don't care, right? It's just not that big of a deal. That it sucks, yes, and we get angry. We have an emotional reaction, and we're supposed to. There's a reason why human beings are instilled with various emotions, positive, negative, and fear or anger or this sort of thing. There's a reason why we have a 5 of wands in the tarot pack. Because we do sometimes need to fight. Sometimes we do need to get angry. Sometimes we need to realize when it's not worth the effort, right? We're kind of connecting the 4 of swords here and that 7 of swords with the 5 of wands, which is kind of us asking the question, if when this happens, maybe this hasn't happened yet with this person who has revealed your secret. When that happens or happened, is it worth the fight? Is it worth getting angry over? How is that helping you to maintain your intention of life? How is that affecting our 9 of cups, our happiness, our pursuit of happiness? The following of our bliss. See, the card of the environment is very much connected with the card of what's inside of us. You feel kind of angry about it. But how do these cards connect? How does that relate to the pursuit of your happiness, your overall kind of intention of life? Yeah. So, death card here. I know I'm kind of skipping around a little bit. That's okay. It's my program. I can do that. When this happens, we have to, in whatever way this works out, we have to transmute this feeling of frustration or anger, this kind of fight response. We have to transmute that, transform that into something that's going to help us get to our best life. Okay? And I think this is how karma really works. Because we could have this fight response, and that could go immediately into our action. Right? We feel frustrated, feel angry, we react. Or we could transmute that feeling into something that's going to get us more of this happiness feeling, right? And whether that is just letting it go, pretending it didn't happen, just not even worrying about it, and just continuing on. Or if it is literally cutting that person off and saying, hey, guess what? We're not friends anymore, right? And it doesn't matter which one. What matters is you're doing what is bringing you just a little bit closer to your happiness, or what is continuing to keep you on that path of pursuing your happiness. And it really depends on a lot of things. There are a lot of factors here. Who is that person to you? What was the secret that they revealed? What was their intention? What was their reason for doing it? Sometimes it's easier to forgive a mistake. Sometimes it's easier to cut somebody off when you knew that they did it on purpose, because then it's just like, well, you made it easy for me. Trash took itself out, right? So I feel like there's this relationship thing going on with you. I don't know if maybe it's a romantic thing. It could be. It could be a friend or a family member, but we have to focus on what's going to give us the best experience of our lives, what's going to create the most kind of harmony in your environment. And sometimes that is literally just getting rid of the person, right? I feel like one of you works at a school. Yeah, Spirit's showing me kind of a classroom setting, and I don't know if maybe your classmates, maybe you go to the same school or university, or one of you works at a school or something like that. But there's this, there's a facility for learning involved in this in some way. Yeah. But I want to talk about the Eon card, judgment, rebirth, reawakening, the baptism by fire, the trial by fire. Because this is a test for you too. Right? Spirit is testing to see how you react to somebody who, in our perception, is wronging us. And here I am still trying to figure out how to get these cards exactly straight. How to make them just absolutely perfect on the table. It will never be. It will never be perfect. Things will never be ideal. Life is always an adjustment to the current circumstance. We always have to adjust to the environment. Yeah, so this is a test. This is a learning experience for you. And I think that it is giving you a kind of a leveling up of the way you see the world, right? And I said that we always have to adjust. We have to adjust to the environment, right? Well, that goes back to the 5 and the 9 again. Because the 5 is kind of us gauging our own response. Do I use more gas or less gas, right? How much speed do I need? How much should I be stepping on the accelerator right now? That's the 5 of how fast or slow do I need to go? 5 of Wands. In order to adapt to the circumstances, in order to deal appropriately with what is happening around me, right? But really it's a two-way street. We adapt to the environment, but it's also through our, because we always say that we have to adapt to nature, or, to, somehow there's a separation, right? But if we are a part of that, if we're part of the environment, then we have just as much influence over the environment as the environment has on us. That it is a two-way street, sometimes more, sometimes less, right? But it's always a two-way street. So when something is happening within us, it's a response to the environment. We feel angry that somebody did this to us. So we're trying to formulate our response. And then what our response is, in turn, is going to affect the environment. So it comes in, it goes out. It's always a flow between ourselves and what we perceive as being outside of ourselves. Okay? Otherwise, yes, it would feel like we are just here alone, and all of this is taking place hypothetically in our own psyches, and there is nothing that exists outside of us. I don't know if that's true. But I know for all intents and purposes, what happens outside of me affects me. We absorb some of that energy, and that's going to bring us over to the 4 of Swords. We absorb some of that. It causes things in us. We start to think and feel in certain ways, and then we issue a response to the environment, and then the environment's changed, and then keeps going back and forth. The 4 of Swords is in some ways us creating that protective circle around ourselves, fortifying our souls, our aura, so that we don't receive the influence from outside. In some ways, the 4 of Swords is completely indifferent. It's a card called Truce, which just means, I'm not going to fight. Which means, I don't care what you do, I'm not going to react. Okay? And it's something that we sometimes strive for. I'm not going to let the actions or opinions or thoughts of others affect me or cause any movement within me. Well, try that sometimes, right? How often are we able to witness things, see things, hear things, smell things, taste things that are offensive to us, but yet not feel the stirrings of, not that we have to react physically and say something, but you feel it inside most of the time. I don't think it's very easy at all for us to completely be indifferent to anything. But it's something that we sometimes strive for. I think we should at least attempt, because it will teach us a lot about ourselves. Right? And it's very simple of, even taking some food that you don't like. Well, you don't like the taste of Brussels sprouts or something. Okay, so when you smell a Brussels sprout, do you start dry heaving and making faces and making noises and saying, that's disgusting, right? Well, that's a very obvious response, What if you don't do those things, but you feel like doing them? Right? There's not much of a difference, right? We're still being moved internally. That energy has still penetrated our aura and has changed something inside of us. Now, it's up to us whether we allow that to then result in behavior, to result in some sort of us issuing a response, making the faces and doing the little gag noises about the Brussels sprouts, or if we keep it inside. Either way, it's gotten in, right? Or if you could smell the disgusting Brussels sprout. Now, I love Brussels sprouts. I think we're having Brussels sprouts for lunch, actually. We could see them, smell them, and maybe even taste them, and not have that internal response. There's the internal response and then the external, response. And that's what the Four of Swords is asking us. We sometimes can refrain from acting or saying anything, but we still feel disturbed by things. We still feel moved. I still feel the gag and the disgust and everything from Brussels sprouts. I'm choosing to it's like white knuckle. We're trying really hard to not react, but inside we're boiling over. Okay? And that's what we mean here. There's the internal response, but it's up to us how we convert that into a physical response, something that somebody else can perceive. And a lot of the time, people can perceive it even when we're trying to hold it back. They can see our brows furrowing or like the smoke coming out of our ears, that sort of thing. But I don't know how easy it is to actually not have that internal response. But that's the Four of Swords. There's that fortitude where we don't allow other things to penetrate our aura. Nothing that comes in from outside is going to disturb my Nine of Cups, the pursuit of my happiness. I don't even let it in, right? And I think we sometimes can strive for this. It is not easy, and most of the time we will fail, right? I don't think it's a goal that we ever really will attain. I don't think we're meant to really attain it. I think it's an exercise in learning. It's an exercise in perception. It's an exercise in kind of learning about ourselves, right? This kind of cosmic enlightenment. And I think it's part of this whole scenario. I think there is something to do with this person, revealing some secret of yours. I feel like that's kind of the example. That's the kind of test to see how we're able to respond or control our responses, right? Because Spirit is saying that you do have a secret. And I feel like somebody is revealing that secret. I'm also seeing a necklace, pearls or something, like white jewels, yeah. I think it's a pearl thing. Maybe somebody's named Pearl. No, there's somebody that wears the jewelry, wears the necklace. Yeah, I don't know if it's a family member, friend, or something. There's somebody in your family right now that is having something to do with their brain going on. Spirit's showing me something with the head, the brain. Not so much the nervous system, it's more brain. I don't know if somebody in your family is already in treatment for something kind of brain related, right? Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about the Knight of Pentacles here at the end. This is your ability to really see the future. Like I said, this is the vision of the future. For one, we can see what our goals are, what our ultimate goals are. 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road, right? Long-term goals. And because you can see that, you know you can reverse engineer it. You can work your way backwards. Every thought, word, and deed right now is affecting that future, is affecting you, who you are and what you will be doing and where you will be doing it 5, 10, 20 years down the road. Every single thing we do right now, every thought, every word, every deed. Okay? That's karma. Understanding the long-term consequences of everything, down to the smallest blinking of our eyes, is going to change a little something about 10 years from now. Okay? But this is in a more obvious way, really you understanding how your responses to the world are going to affect the world and therefore their responses to you, and then the cycle continues back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. It's like a game of chess, right? And I think this is a big revealing moment for you at this time in your life, where things are coming into a different perspective, and it's almost like you're kind of understanding what's really important to you, what really matters to you. And that's the focus. Yeah, that's the focus. Spirit's showing me there's a scar or something on your shoulder. What happened to the shoulder? I don't know if there's an accident or something, if there was an injury, and you have a scar, I think, on the back of your shoulder there. Spirit's also telling me again about the pearls. I feel like there's jewels. I feel like there's something with family jewelry going on. This might be a family situation that's really testing you right now. Okay. But the clear understanding is coming. Let's look at the mystery card though, which I did it again. Never picked one. Let's do that now. See, I got too carried away with the energy here today. But that's all right. This is the mystery card, and we usually save that to the end. Well, guess what? It is almost the end of the video. So let's do the mystery card now. I think that's the one. We'll put Simon more Gripply on top just for a minute, just so they've got something to do. I don't want them to feel left out here. I don't know what we need even here, you know? What are we looking for? Maybe we need that Ace of Cups. Maybe we need to know what we're looking for. Maybe we need to have that big goal up ahead, and that's where we focus. And then everything is going to be geared toward that. All of our responses to the world are going to be designed in such a way. It's like a game of chess, right? And the person with the brain thing, are they the one that you used to play chess with? Because I feel that they are. Or something. There's something to do with the game. Them and the game, I guess, right? Maybe we need something toward which we can plan our moves, that we know, like you're thinking like a chess player, thinking 5 or 10 moves ahead of how what I do is going to influence what they do, and what they do, then I'll do this, and that'll influence them to do that, and it's really this kind of chess game that's going on, yeah? So, with this card, I wonder if we'll get your power card, right? The justice card, or if we'll get an ace. Any of the aces, I think, will be great. Let's see what we have. Oh, 6 of Cups. 6 of Cups. This could be, really it could be forgiveness. It could be that you're starting to understand that perhaps just maintaining the peace and the harmony in your life is most important. as you pursue your goals, as you continually work toward the satisfying and happy, blissful life of the Nine of Cups, that in order to do that, we have to maintain loving, harmonious, trusting relationships with people. Authentic, sincere relationships with people. So maybe it's not about forgiving what they did. Maybe it's not a reconciliation, because maybe there's no way to restore the harmony with that person. And I think you only really want those authentic, sincere relationships in your life. And if this person doesn't bring that, they gotta go. Simple. Because you certainly bring it. You bring that kind of authenticity and that sincerity in your relationships. And I think you expect the same thing. Okay. 6 of Cups. 6 of Cups. Anyway, we're going to do a quick extended reading. If you want to stick around, there's a link up top. There's one down below. New readings for Libra every Wednesday and Saturday. 6 a.m. Chicago time. I'm here every day. Come back and see me again tomorrow. Be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe if you haven't yet. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. Okay. I want you to know that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.